Welcome everybody to another episode of Candid Convos, and today's guest is Melissa Barry. Melissa, thank you very much for joining us. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit to our guests, to our listeners? Can you tell them who you are, where you're coming from, a little bit about your growth path as an attorney?
Yes, so I am now a small law firm owner. I opened my law firm in the middle of COVID after working at jobs that I felt underappreciated and specifically had some events going on in my family that I really struggled with and had no respect for an old boss. And I said, I will never treat people that way. I will hire people and they will enjoy working for me. We will have a good work atmosphere. We are a team. We all work together. That includes my employees, my W-2 employees, as well as my virtual staff. We are all part of the same team, so it's a great thing. I've been practicing law for about 17 years.
Mhm.
I went to law school in Ohio after getting my undergraduate at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I was a prosecutor for about 8.5 years. Then when I had a child, I went part-time and worked for defense firms, doing mostly criminal work. And then I started my own firm and mastered family law. And now I focus on family law and criminal defense. I'm a
Mhm.
trial attorney and enjoy trial.
Well, that's not something that I honestly find every day, because now I'm starting to meet more attorneys that they rather settle things out of court. So finding someone that goes to trial and that actually enjoys trial is something very refreshing. And I also tend to notice that people that do that actually love going to trial. I don't know if that's your position.
I'm very competitive. So my joke is I don't come to play, I come to win.
Mhm.
So if I'm not winning in the negotiation phase, then the place to win is at trial. And so then we go to trial. And it's nice because I can usually tell my clients ahead of time, like this case, we're likely to go to trial. This case, we're not likely to go to trial. This one's likely to resolve. This one's not, because I have significant trial experience.
You're working hybrid, I imagine, because you have people that you said they're on W-2, then you have people who are completely remote. So how do you manage those relationships, the difference between being either in-house or remote, maybe in other states in the US? Like, what's your setup like?
So we actually all work remotely unless it's necessary to work together. So if we need to be at our location, we are, but it's not very often. We're like by appointment only for people to come in and meet with us. Um, we do a lot of video meetings. I do video meetings with my staff twice a week and touch base. I make myself available other times during the week so they can ask me questions. I can let them know what I've noticed, good and bad over the last week. And we give props. We correct things that need to be corrected without singling anybody out. We all just kind of work together and fix what needs to be fixed and celebrate what gets to be celebrated.
Mhm.
We also do like lunches where we do lunch all together on video and we basically shut down the office. No one answers the phones and we just hang out and talk about life and the things that are going on and the way you would if you had a break room, right? Where people were walking through, or if you saw somebody having a rough day. We don't have that. I don't see my staff with what they're struggling with. So I rely on them to tell me, like I ask them, is everything going well? Like I do personal check-ins, like how are you doing? Do you need anything? Is everything okay? And then as well as like the business part of it, because you can't take the person out of the position. And I feel like so many people do that, especially when and I hate to say that, but especially when they use like the contractors. Like this is somebody who doesn't work for me, they work for someone else, right? And when we were implementing using virtual receptionists and virtual staff, my office manager and I had a really good conversation to make sure we knew how we were going to incorporate them into our firm to be part of the team, so they would be celebrated for being part of the team as if they were a W-2 employee. Because I don't want anyone, for me, it's the same relationship. I don't want anyone to feel like, well, because she's not the one who signs my paycheck,
Mhm.
um, I get treated differently, because that's not true in our firm.
Now, I do got a question in here because I know that there's a standard when it comes to lawyers, when it comes to hiring. So I know you have staff from the US, but you have someone from offshore. Was there ever a moment when you doubted their capabilities because of where they're located? Or was it like, let's give it a shot? When you started onboarding people that are not from the countryside, like, what was going through your mind?
So my first offshore staff person was, excuse me, was not with Get Staffed Up.
Mhm.
And I never doubted her abilities. However, she was not treated well by the business that she was working for. So she left. And then I decided if they weren't going to, again, it goes to, if you're not going to treat the people that are working for me well, I'm not going to pay you to treat them at all. And I will deal with it myself. Um, then I had Get Staffed Up. I've been using them now for a while. And so with the first person, I had no doubts that she was capable, right? Like, I did an interview. There were things that it was harder. I was significantly smaller then as well. So um what I was having her do was actually very different. So I went from having somebody who was doing court filings and, like, just managing a case system, to somebody now. My virtual people are, or my offshore people are doing, intake, follow up, sales type stuff, more so than just filing with the courts. Now they still fill in and do filing so they can be, because I want them to know how to do it. It makes them more marketable. It makes them more valuable to me and to someone else if I need help with something and I can pull them off of one task and give them something different, right? So I still invest in teaching them. In fact, she's actually helping with doing my policy and procedure manual,
Mhm.
um, to where we have a written manual, because I have policies and procedures, but we've been kind of video recording them and taking notes in a notebook, and it's not been a great system.
Mhm.
So my virtual offshore person right now is helping me with that on top of everything else. So, there's a lot of things that they can do. What's really interesting to me is I am so impressed with. I have one right now. We might be moving into a second one in the near future. And we're adding an attorney and another paralegal, and then we'll probably add another staff person after that. But what impresses me is just her. She has such a go-getter attitude. Um, she's intelligent. She's graduating with a master's degree. She's, we've created a culture though where she feels comfortable coming and giving ideas and voicing her opinion on things. And she has, in many ways, actually improved the firm and business with what she's thinking and doing. So no, are there limitations? Not really. We live in a world where everything can be done online. It's just a matter of if you're willing and able to invest the time into figuring out how, like video meetings instead of just a phone call here and there, or instead of just, hey, you're on your own, which a lot of attorneys I've seen just say, hey, here's what I need done, get it done, right? I don't agree with that. I understand why we do that. I don't do that very often. Um, but I think that the reality of it is especially post COVID, it's easy to be virtual. And I was pretty much virtual before COVID. So I worked for a firm for a while that I worked at home unless I was in court. Now, court was not virtual, but everything else was. Now, at this time, for at least where I'm at, criminal court is usually in person, not always. Family law court is almost always virtual unless it's a trial or an evidentiary hearing. So, I mean, even court now is virtual. So, there's no reason why somebody offshore can't do everything that anybody in office could do.
I am very I am very happy that I get to meet someone like you because I know that you are treating people right. And in this world, oh my God, that's very needed. But at the same time, like I mentioned in the past, I have to be very considerate of your time. You've already given us so much. So I have one last thing for you. Can you please let people know where they can find you and what you can do for them?
Yes, so the law firm I own is called At Ease Law, where we help you navigate the law with ease. I always joke around how we put people at ease because we let them give us their stress. We help people protect their freedom, their finances, and their families when they're facing hard times with court involvement. So basically, criminal defense, if anybody's been charged with a crime or anybody has any family matters, custody, divorce, other concerns, we're always happy to help. We're located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we can be reached at 702-602-5004. And I welcome anyone to actually reach out if you want to talk business, if you want to be, if you want to learn what we've done to grow, or you want, an accountability partner or somebody. I am happy to encourage and help other attorneys get where they want to be, because I think it takes a village to build a business. It's not something you do on your own. And I've been very fortunate to have a lot of people assist me and offer me help and ideas and guidance when I needed it. And so I am happy to do that and pass that forward. So you can give me a call, 702-602-5004. You can email me, Melissa, Melissa, at AteaseLaw, ATEASELAW.com. And I'm always willing to help.
Well, thank you very much, Melissa. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And I hope we can have you as a return guest in about a year. I'm very curious to see how's your future going to unfold.
Amazingly, we're on a very good path right now.
Well,
so we have a good business plan in place. How about that?
Well, thank you for sharing part of that business plan too. I'm looking forward to seeing it unfold again. So thanks for everything, Melissa.
Thank you too, Joe. Have a good day.